Hey horse lovers, Gina and I today would like to talk to you a little bit about teaching horses how to puzzle solve pressure in a way that helps them learn not to be afraid of being trapped. And the way that we're going to do that today is we're going to discuss teaching them to lead by one of their front legs. And so what I mean by lead by a front leg is I want to teach her to follow a physical touch on her legs to advance her understanding of how to stay in harmony with me and with my tools. When she does this, then she'll learn that also, right, in return for her learning to stay in harmony with me, it'll feel good, and she can learn to trust that I would never ask her to do anything that wasn't in her best interests. The main practical benefit to teaching our horses to lead by a leg is to help them have a better chance of doing something productive if they get a leg trapped. Like say they, for some reason, get their leg caught in a fence, or maybe you have them tied a little too long and they get a leg over their rope. Things like that. With these skills, she has a much better chance of being able to puzzle solve those situations versus panicking and doing herself harm. So I've actually never asked her to do this before, so it'll be a good little teaching video. My expectations are just to try to help her make sense of that kind of interaction between us. I don't expect anything fancy, although we've been working together for 4 years now and she's learned how to handle quite a lot of human things. So I'll be ready for her to do it fancy, but my hope is actually that she doesn't do it very fancy so I can talk you through that part a little bit. So the first thing is to make sure that they're confident around things touching their legs, right? The rope-like things, like stuff like this, needs to be no big deal. All right, so that all says green light. I don't see any indication that she has any concern about that feeling. The next thing is I'm going to put this down below her fetlock, right on the back of her pastern there. Rub it a little bit to make sure that I'm not causing any concern. And so she already recognizes that I probably want her to do something with that. That's really good. So now I'm going to put just a tiny bit of pressure on the backside of her pastern. And I'm going to look for that spot where it feels stuck. And that's right there. And then as soon as she yields it, she's a little nervous about the environment. And so she's looking to me for comfort there. You're okay, baby girl. Okay, so as soon as she responds to that feeling, even though she went backwards and eventually I want her to come forward, right now all she would really need to do is to lift her leg. And it's a little tough work. Good. That was better than the first one. I didn't put as much pressure on it, and she yielded to it quicker, and actually she followed the feeling forward, which is going to help us, eventually lead her by a leg. Oh, we backtracked a little bit there. So I did it 3 times in a row. I like to follow the rule of 3. So in 3 efforts, she made some progress in the second effort and then backtracked a little bit in the third effort. So now I'm going to do it 3 more times with the goal of each effort is either as good or a little bit better. 1% is all I'm looking for. Perfection is unrealistic and kills the joy in our horsemanship, but progress is desirable. Okay, there we go. Put a little feel. There you go. And she yielded. That was good. So we're back to the original option of lifting but then going backwards, which is fine. She had a nice lick and a chew there. Now, she didn't pick her leg up, but she put her weight in position to do so, and so I released. The sooner I can time my release, the quicker she'll understand the request. Okay, so to me that feels like progress in those 3 efforts, right? Each one has a little bit more understanding so that I don't get in the situation where she might feel like I'm drilling her. I'm going to change the subject. And all I got to do to change the subject in this situation is change sides. Same thing on this side then. I'm going to make sure that she's comfortable and confident with that feeling on her leg. Just try to keep my rope tidy enough that I don't lose digits here. Now she's anticipating something there, so I just want to keep her in this spot. So I got to be ready to you know, manage more than one thing at a time. All right, so I'm going to bring that pressure on. That was so good. That was better than the other side on the first attempt. Take a little pause in between. She's obviously, you know, struggling a little bit with the wind today, but that's okay. That was so good. That was so good. It'd be so easy to get greedy right now, because when she lifted her foot there was enough, she held it up long enough that I probably could have just moved it forward, and then I'd felt, yay me, I led her forward. But it probably wouldn't make it better tomorrow. It just would have, it wouldn't have any value, so I didn't do it. Good. So each one was a tiny bit better than the one before. That was the rule of 3, so that I don't get in the habit of drilling her and making her feel like no matter what she does, it can't possibly be right. We're going to go ahead and leave that one alone for today. I recommend, and what I'm going to do with her is we're going to rehearse this specific task for at least 6 more days, ideally in a row. And at the end of that 7-day cycle, 7 to 10 days, I'll reevaluate the behavior and decide whether or not I need to put it through another cycle before the behavior has been fully trained. I hope you found that helpful.